Hi everyone, Joe here. Well, I was in another exciting webinar and I want to share some of the things with you. I'll have to refer to my notes because it was a rather long one, but it is an important one. I know we all want to be on the path to success and we want the results of that in our life so that we can pass that on to other people and share and make a difference, actually. So a lot of us do have some habits that prevent this from happening. And so this seminar was about the 6 core habits of failure and what to do to get rid of those. So now is the time, really, to take a look at what the road to success is all about and what our stepping stones are to get there and to eliminate what doesn't work. So there are 6 habits that are in a failure cycle, and we'll go over those and see if, you may not have done all of them, but I'm sure you've done one or two, because I know I certainly have. And when you get out of that cycle and into the success cycle, it's a whole different thing. So let's go through these. We need to understand what it is before we can even begin to change it. So the core failure habits start with procrastination. Ever done that one? Oh, I have, and that's when you just keep putting things off and putting things off, and it's easy to do, and it's also easy not to do when you set your sights to getting things done and sticking with your commitments. So then when you keep on procrastinating, then you go into time bankruptcy. That's the second step. And this is where you totally run out of time because you have kept putting things off and you don't have the time now. So there's always you're trying to catch up. You're constantly trying to catch up, and you're so far behind that you feel, oh my God, I will never ever catch up. And so then you go into the next step, which is negativity. So now you're upset with yourself because you've procrastinated, you've put things off, and you're upset with yourself because now you don't have the time to go back and fix all this stuff, and you're upset with yourself because nothing looks right to you, and so you go into the negativity pattern, where everything that comes to you, whether it's an opportunity or not, it looks negative, and you get caught up in that. Now that's how you see the world, and anything you do or anything that comes to you, it appears negative. So that's the filter. That's the filter that you use for whatever it is in your world, and that's a horrible one to get into because it's a difficult one to get out of. You feel bad, things look bad, and everything that comes to you is just a negative, is in a negative state. So then you go into the next step, which is resistance. And when everything is negative and everything is not functioning at all, we're either going from fear, we go into fear, we go into doubt and worry and concern, of course, and that all attributes to lack. So the resistance, even if something comes that is an opportunity, you're resisting it because your answer is always no. No, I'm not going to. You resist everything that comes your way. Another difficult one. So what happens is it feels like a threat. It feels like an absolute threat to our whole universe, and you keep saying no. So after that, when all of this negativity and everything crumbles, and then that leaves you in chaos. That's the next step. The next core habit is chaos. So when we're unhappy, when we feel rushed, when we aren't letting any of the positive things into our life, everything is completely out of whack. We throw all of our systems out the window. Anything that worked before, we're done with it. And because now everything is chaotic. So, and we don't have the time, we've run out of energy, everything has become chaotic, and this automatically gets reflected in everything, in your whole external world. So it feels terrible, and you withdraw. And then you go into the next step, the final step, which is isolation. And this isolation begins with the feeling that you have to do everything by yourself. You're all alone, and there is no external help from anyone. You don't know how you're going to get out of this, but there's nobody else there to help you. Nobody else to help you get through this. Nobody that you can rely on. You have to rely on yourself, and you just keep digging yourself deeper and deeper into that hole of despair. So the byproduct of this, again, then you start all over again. You go into procrastination. Starting all over, you get into this, except you burrow deeper and deeper each time you go through the cycle. And it is really, really difficult to get out of. So when you shift out of the failure cycle and go into the success cycle, there are things that you can do. But you don't, there's a misunderstanding. You don't actually get rid of bad habits. Because as human beings, when we get rid of something, we go looking for something to replace it. And when we've been in the cycle of bad habits, we usually find something else that's a bad habit to replace it. And so that doesn't work either. So you look at the bad habits as a duality. It's good or bad. And you can use it as a coin. There's a good side and there's a bad side. There's a positive side, there's a negative side. So when you are looking at the habit, and in order to change it, you have to look at it from the positive side. And so there is, because you want to make your dreams a reality, and so you can't continue to do it from the failure cycle mode. You have to go into the success cycle mode. So there's a way to do this, and so you flip the habit side to the positive side. And there are 3 different steps that will help you get back into a success cycle. And so the first one is to change your awareness. And when you change your awareness that it is not necessarily bad, but there is a good side to it, you're looking at it from a whole different perspective. So even just take procrastination. If you just look at it from the good side, you've waited, but you can indeed get started again. You can set your goals, and you can do this in smaller proportions so that you get the positive feeling again to get going. So be honest and see where the awareness comes in, and change it to the positive vein. And then number 2 is to change expectations. So when you change awareness into a positive vein, you obviously are going to change the expectations too, because you're going to expect something better when you're doing something more positive. And so the expectations are going to be much more fulfilling. And in order to do them, you will believe in those expectations. So change the awareness and then change the expectations. So you can ask yourself, what do I really expect to happen here? And if you go back to the old patterns, you can add additionally, what if I expect something different? What if I could expect something different? And then that will change your mind so that you can look for the positive expectation and just see how that happens. So change your expectations. And then the third step, of course, is to change your actions. when you change the awareness into a positive mode and you change the expectations into a positive expectation, then your actions are going to change. And the actions are going to be driven by inspiration. As before, they were driven by fear and doubt and everything else. So when they're driven by inspiration, you add enthusiasm and excitement and your vision in there as well, and the whole thing changes. So you won't go back into the failure mode. You're going onto the success cycle now, and it feels really good. So when you can do all these positive awareness and positive expectations and change your actions to inspired action, it will indeed work for you. And then you'll be able to create massive, massive success momentum. So here's what you change all of this to. You change the procrastination to action. You change the time bankruptcy to time freedom. And you change the to power positive forms focus. You change it to willingness. You change it to systems for flexibility, and finally to communication, so that there is no isolation and you won't go back into procrastination. There always is someone there to support you. You don't have to do this alone. So hopefully this was helpful. I don't expect that you had subscribed to all of these bad habits. And remember, there's two sides to that coin. And don't look at it as all of them were bad. You can change it to the positive vein. So hopefully this was helpful. Connect with me on Facebook. I'd love to chat about it. So take good care. God bless. Make it a great day.